would an employer claim that they hired an applicant under false pretenses if the newly hired employees then disclosed the disability right after being hired and request an accommodation? So I actually have a video on this, Eagle 97. I recommend, let me take a sip of my coffee. So I actually have like a video of like how to go about applying for jobs if you have a disability that needs an accommodation. And my recommendation is get in there. Don't disclose your disability until you're hired. Like once you're fully hired, disclose your disability. And then they can argue it's false pretenses. But the response to that is like, oh, so you're saying you wouldn't have hired me if I disclosed my disability up front? Because that sounds a lot like having a disability discrimination case. Only now that you actually hired me, I know that I can litigate this more successfully than a failure to hire claim. Failure to hire claims are tougher to win and worth less because they're higher risk, right? There's a lot of people who apply for a job who don't get hired. So on a failure to hire claim, the employer can just be like, listen, we interviewed 300 people. We hired one. What do you want from us? It wasn't the disability. This was one of the 299 people we didn't hire, right? Can you bring that case? Could that case have value? Sure, absolutely. But is it as good as, well, they hired me. I was the 1 out of 300 people they actually hired. And then I disclosed my disability and asked for an accommodation, and then they fired me. Well, that's a much better case, right? Like I was the guy. I'm the person. I'm the human being who got selected for the job. And then I said, hey, but I do need this one accommodation, which I have a right to under federal law and potentially state and local law as well. And then they fired me. So that's a way better case and something they're also probably going to be afraid to do if they're competent. So my recommendation is definitely don't disclose until you're hired. Always. And listen, if they fire you, get that money, right?